All right. Good catch. Good catch, Toast. Um, because I've been, thank you, Toast. I wasn't really saying much. Um, let me think real quick before I tell you what happened. So I came out. I said, shout out to Great Barn Golf. We're doing SGT, which is my league. Great Barn Golf. Shout out to them. Big Dog. Usually we play on Saturday nights, but I jokingly said, yeah, sorry. Um, I'll tell you in a second what happened there. Big Dog, I jokingly said, unfortunately, thinks that his footy tournament is more important than him carrying me for 18 holes for our scramble tour. So, unfortunately, we're not playing tonight. Only the second time since we started doing it that we haven't been able to play on like our scheduled time. I think the first one was when I went to Florida. So, I'm just being funny. I'm sure Big Dog, he deserves a Saturday doing something else. So, or I guess him Sunday. But either way, we're doing my league. I shouted out Flying Fat Kid. I said he was probably in the chat 20 minutes early. And then I was answering your question, Toast, about hating this course. As far as the stupid mic, I don't change anything. What I did, though, which I'll have to double check, I've been having to use, since I added, I've only had it for like maybe 3, 4 streams, maybe. I have an extra old dumb TV that I got. Um, but I had to run an HDMI cable to my computer so I could basically extend my laptop screen. So I have the laptop as the first screen, GSPro is number 2, and now number 3 is the chat that I can read over here. The problem is, to do that, I had to get a separate, basically dongle adapter thing, and I had to change where I could put my mic into the computer. So what I probably did, actually, it's in the same exact spot. So I thought maybe it was in a different port. Why that didn't pick up, I don't know. But likely it's because I'm doing some slightly different things these past couple times. That for sure, having no audio for like, thanks for catching it quick. It was like 3 minutes, but I'll be sure to check that. Um, it's just OBS. For whatever reason, it just defaulted off of what the mic was that was selected. But that's about it. I think I was mentioning. Now I forget what part I said before or after it cut out. But um, I recorded a couple of videos yesterday, and I have one that I edited before coming out here, and it was uploading. So probably by now it's already done. Once I finish playing this afternoon, I'll probably go in and make a thumbnail and probably post that video. Toast, I think you're really gonna like it. I shouted you out, I think twice, 2 or 3 times in it. I'll release the video for members first, likely until Monday, so you'll get it a couple days early. But did you see how good FFK was in our scramble? It was Tom and Rich. Oh man, I did not mention that. No, I said, "What's up, Flying Fat Kid?" in the chat after I did my Gray Barn Golf spiel with the QR code and all that stuff, and then I got my sponsor disclaimer out of the way, and I said, "Oh, Flying Fat Kid in the chat. He's probably been in there for 20 minutes." But um, no, I did not mention that. Flying Fat Kid did play pretty well. I think there was seemingly a little bit of confusion, and I probably didn't do a great job explaining it. Flying Fat Kid was saying that I wasn't giving him enough credit for his good putt. What I was saying is you hit a really good putt. I think the line was good, but you pushed it and it was a little bit too fast. So I wasn't like saying that to you. I'm speaking out loud saying I'm trying to make this putt. He pushed it and it was too fast. I need to not push it and not hit it so fast, but I think the line's good. Flying Fat Kid took a little bit of offense, and I think maybe, honestly, Tom and Rich, they just kind of, they got lucky. They're not that good at golf. I think if me and Flying Fat Kid didn't have that little disagreement on putting, I think we would have won. So that's what really hurt the team. Rich and Tom, I mean, what'd they shoot? 18 under? I mean, it's not that good. I think they had a rare good day. They caught me and Flying Fat Kid on a bad day. I didn't watch it back. Flying Fat Kid had some really good drives per usual. I wasn't doing much. I think I had one long putt. Other putts, for whatever reason, were just horrendous. Um, Flying Fat Kid hit a number of, specifically speaking of putts, he hit some really good putts. They just didn't go for whatever reason. Just slightly too fast, slightly too high on the line, etc., etc. But all jokes aside, Tom and Rich are very good at golf, really fun to play with. They balled out. We didn't have a chance really from the beginning. But shout out to those guys. I probably played by far the worst out of all three. So if you guys didn't catch that, that's how that night went. You got to remember that stream last night. These are like, so that I just switched to my 56. They smoked us. Yeah, they did. I just switched to my 56. Toast, if you're in here, you were seeing this last night on the live. If I just try to hit like, I was just trying to hit like a regular 56 there, because these things launch so dang high, they're literally, if I don't try to flight this down into like a more reasonable, like down there location for the ball to hit, if I just hit like a regular 56, these things just fly up here. They come off they spin off the screen, off the top, and they're over here like bouncing around on my shank tank. We were 11 over, felt like we had no idea how to play golf. I don't even remember what the score was, to be honest, but they were 10 under through 9. So they birdied 8 holes on the front, and they eagled 1. I don't even know. I was saying it throughout, which is tough. Like, I think we played halfway decent. If we weren't playing them, I think we probably would have been relatively happy with that score. Like, I don't think we had a bogey. I think we just had all pars and birdies. Anyways. That's a little bit of a predicament there, though, because that one, I did not try to do that. That ended up fine. I was trying to hit that like 60 or 70, and I sculled it just because I'm trying to hit down on it so much to flight it down. But if I start sculling them 20 yards further, just because I'm trying to really flight it down. Missed a few putts that we should have made. Did we, though? Like, we could have made, yes. Like, I feel most of our putts weren't that short, right? I feel like you're talking about putts that were like 15, 20 feet, 25 feet. Like, I think we gave them good runs. And, like, you compare those numbers to, like, actual real life, they're like 10% putts, aren't they? Some of it, too. What do we do? 8 or 10 feet on the gimme? So some of them that, like, were kind of deceivingly longer putts almost because you were like right outside the circle, but then you had like an 8-10 footer instead of like just outside the circle and you have like a 6 footer. I did that did a live stream on my phone last night after I was done recording some videos, and I did that ladder. Danko said he's been doing it.
Flying Fat Kid tipped $1.99 through Super Chat. The people have spoken, no ads for the boys.
Thanks, Flying Fat Kid. Appreciate you, buddy. I did the ladder thing last night. It's actually pretty nice. Like, so I guess it goes all the way up and all the way down in terms of the distances. I went 25, I think, to 100 or 95 in 5-yard increments, I think it was. And I made the circle. I think it was like a 10-yard circle. So it's pretty easy, but it still just gets you saying, at least with these balls, I had like a 65-yard shot just saying, okay, I want to hit as close to 60 yards and let it roll out like 60, 61 as I can for like 3 times in a row. worthwhile doing. Appreciate you, Flying Fat Kid. I was coming over here trying to like it and whatnot with my, usually I have my phone, and I realized it's just a screen, so I got to get the mouse, and then I got to go over this way, but appreciate the super chat. As always, you are the man. Guy doesn't even see ads. Oh, man. I will say, once I get it up and running, having this chat on a decently sized screen is really, really nice. But I'm struggling with, so I'm like trying to open a window to turn the ads off. I'm going through 3 dang screens trying to figure out where the mouse is and like where stuff is like popping up. I feel like there's probably an easier way to like switch back and forth between screens, but I don't know how to do it. Okay. Ads are off. Shout out Flying Fat Kid. I was seeing the same thing last night. I need an IT person. Tell me about it. I need an IT. Here's the problem, Toast. I need an IT person, and a lot of times I'm the IT person for other people. So it's like the blind leading the blind. It's tough times around here when stuff hits the fan, and I'm the one helping you out. I was about to say though, so like look at that. This is I don't understand how that can be the case. Like I'm hitting a 51 degree. This is my approach wedge, and assuming the score got that right, but this is what I've been seeing. How is that spinning at 98? Which like that's a lot of backspin. How is that spinning at 98 and I can't get a 56 degree over like 7,000? I don't get it. Like these approach wedges would never spin that much with a TP5. And I think that's hot. That's more backspin with this approach wedge. That's more backspin than a TP5. And I also think like pitching wedge and 9-iron also spin a little bit more, and then it kind of evens out. And then I would say the longer clubs like hybrid and drivers spin a little bit less. But across the bag, they are straighter. I just don't understand how it can spin. It's got to be just speed, I guess. Speed related and compression. I don't get how it can spin at 98 on a shot that you don't really even want it to spin that much. I mean, it's not bad, but I'd rather really be able to rip like a 56, I think, than this. But I think I saw Skull and Crossbones on a golf ball in town. Hopefully I can buy a sleeve to try. You don't have, there's no dicks and you can't ship. You can't get them online and ship them. From my standpoint, whether you like them or not, what's up, Jay? Toast. And from my standpoint, whether you like them or not, you're gonna start using them all the time or not. The fact how cheap they are, if you're gonna hit balls, you don't need to necessarily use these. You could use whatever. But if you're gonna just practice and hit balls, or say like hit wedges, why would you not practice? I get you want to practice and play with the same ball, but for the sake of this, if you're just hitting balls and you're saying, I don't really want to put a ton of wear and tear on like a $5 TP5, why would you not get a case of these, or anyone get a case of these and just use these as like warm up practice balls at $1 versus 5? So even if like this ball is like completely opposite of what you're looking for, and you say that ball sounds terrible, I would never want any of that stuff that it does. I would still think, just because how cheap it is, you would still want to use it for like a practice ball. Oh, that's a shank. All right, Jay, I want to get that thought out before I read this crazy, crazy comment from Jay. Good graciousness. The fan bases on the internets around the globe are back and tuned in to today's outrageous and tremendous Cats and Dogs Living Together live show. 2 thumbs up, Hosel Rocket Golf. I appreciate you, Jay. I think Big Dog said it best. Always positive, always something nice to say. It's always fun reading them. You're okay in my book, Jay. You're okay in my book. Like, out of curiosity, that one wasn't even hit that great. I thinned that a little bit. But I've had some that are 8,000-9,000 so far with these. Just out of curiosity. I don't know if the TP5 spins that much with this club. I thinned that one, but that's like 67. That was a TP5 X. TP5X. Get them shipped, hope no tariffs. I mean, something like that. I don't know. I hear you. It kind of sucks. I wish, like, I don't know why. They want you to go to Dick's, obviously, and Golf Galaxy. They're owned together, but why can't they just sell those balls on Amazon themselves? You'd think they'd sell a lot more. But when I looked on Amazon, they didn't have them. They want you to either go to the store or the website. All right, so that was hit better. But even that, 8,500, that was the TP5 again. So the Maxfli has been all of that, if not more. What ended up may happening is I may have to do just like a test across the bag. I have a test with one club. That I just looked, it's already uploaded. So that's 77. I feel like that's closer to what I see with like those choke down 100-yard shots, not 8,000, 9,000 like the Maxfli. It's like I play with these things and I think I have a pretty good idea of like what they do and whatnot. And then I keep playing with them and like different stuff, good or bad, mostly good, keeps popping up. Like if you were to ask me, okay, we know it spins less with wedges. Does the approach wedge spin more than a TP5? I'm like, no, that makes no sense, but it does. So that was the Maxfli, but that was almost a shank, and it still spun at 76. Sure love how straight the Maxfli is. I do too. If I had to pick one, I've been saying this though, so I think you'll be happy. I mean, I guess, I don't know. I could do it right now. It seems like it's done. I just looked when I turned the ads off, but I don't really necessarily want to step on my own live stream. Toast, as soon as I finish this live stream, I'll make it live for members only, so you'll be able to see it early. But it is essentially a video on that. And you watch it, you tell me. It's tough doing testing. I'm not a robot. I can't hit the same shots over and over again. You warm up, you do like an intro, you explain it, then you kind of cool down while you're explaining that stuff. You try to warm back up and hit shots, and then you kind of go over data. You cool down, you try to warm back up to hit more shots. You want to keep everything as equal as possible. You want to make sure you don't miss anything. Anyways, I did my best. I'll have it up, and I think you'll find it interesting, is basically what I'm saying. And it'll be posted. Anyone else watching, I'll post it just like regularly public on Monday. Oh boy. Haven't hit driver in like 2 days, I think. Last time must have been Thursday night when we played was the last time I hit driver, which didn't go so hot. I had like 2 good ones. Didn't hit driver yesterday, and have not hit it yet today. Chunk that, but at first, Toast, I'm just thinking your last comment, you love how straight it is right on the line kind of thing. At first, when I was using them, I thought I was like imagining things. That's why I kind of asked people like, get them, try them out, let me know what you think. Now that I've played with them, I've done some dedicated testing. I'm still going to do more, and then probably maybe the end of this week, maybe early next week, after I do kind of as much testing as I can and want to do, I'll do kind of like a overall with like a lot of time hitting them and playing with them. Like I'll do an overall, once and for all, my final thoughts kind of thing. Even if the wedge launch is too high for me. Yeah, that's what I'm saying last night. It doesn't have to be all or nothing, one or the other. Like you can have both. And a lot of people do have both. Like I still have the TP5s, and we've been using them for so much. That's why I think on Thursday, that was one of the first times I played with these balls. You use something for 8 months in a row, and you just get used to it. So you can't expect to just like do everything and play and score as well 2 days into switching. It's like getting new irons almost, and just like expecting to like score well after 2 days. But I lost my train of thought. I was saying something about doing an extensive test. It doesn't have to be either or. You can have both. Oh, I was basically saying really what I should have done, instead of just playing with these balls for like Thursday night trying to play better, it would have been smarter just to use these with like driver or even just irons. Just use these with irons and use the TP5 for driver, wedges, and putting. Like that's why I was kind of asking there. There's already people that putt with different balls. I've asked probably 5-10 people at this point, just kind of like, what's your opinion on that? Like, is that cheating? They're like, no. Like, people already do it. They probably... So, I was unsure about it, but you can definitely, if you want, there's probably people that already do it. Just use 2 different balls while you're playing. But, kind of how we got on this is I thought I was kind of just imagining things when I first got them, but I mean, like that's about as good as I can hit an 8-iron. It's just dead straight. It didn't draw quite as much, but like that's about as good as I can hit an 8. And it feels like I don't need to have as much effort to really hit a good shot with these, is what it feels like. It feels like with the TP5, just because of how they're built, they're just a more like, I guess one way, which I've kind of been thinking about how to explain it. One way to explain it would be the TP5 as a ball and the X, if those were like equivalent to, for an analogy, the TP5 would be like blades, and these Maxfli balls would be like closer towards game improvement. So you just need to put more effort and you need to be more skilled to use the blades to get them to go straight and do what you want. These, I can feel like I don't have to hit them quite as good and not time things up quite as much. And because they stay on line, they launch higher and they go straighter. Like you don't need to be as precise, which can be good and bad. All this stuff that I'm saying has trade-offs, but I may try though. I want to play well. I don't necessarily care what I shoot for my league, but I think I'll try putting with them. If I start leaving some like woefully short and like all over the place, then maybe I'll pull out a TP5. I mean, in theory, sorry, I was writing something down. TP5 and TP5X are professionals that work the ball. I'm not good enough for that. I mean, that's what I'm saying, and that's kind of what I've been seeing. I never thought of it that way, which that was one of the things I wrote down. Like I think I've never heard anyone say it that way, but I think that's a pretty good analogy to where I just thought of that. The TP5s and the X's. I mean, it's basically what you're saying. That professionals use them. So professionals also use blades. We can use blades if we want. It doesn't necessarily mean we have to. The problem with all this is there's just some units. Well, really the square was the only real unit that was locked onto it, but there's other units that the TP5 just work better for the unit, so a lot of people just have them. The square was really either TP5 or their own ball, so we really could only ever use those. But now that there's more options, like I don't think as many people that are currently playing TP5s need to play them. Or like just because you had to in the past doesn't mean you have to keep doing it. But like that's why I've been trying to get other people's opinions. I've been playing with them. So like my thoughts as I'm playing, a couple things have changed. Like in the very first video I did, I was kind of hitting them thin. So I was like, these feel a little bit firmer on mishits, which is still true. But overall, I would say that these feel softer because they're just a lower compression ball. So there's some things where like my initial gut reaction slightly changed, but I've been trying to get kind of gather my thoughts as I play with them with like anecdotal evidence, then do testing on top of it to kind of confirm or reject whatever I'm feeling or seeing, and then also see if any other people, once they start getting them, if they have similar experiences, so I know it's kind of just an extra point of validation. And people that I'm not telling everyone to play these balls. I'm going at all these tests and me talking about it from the standpoint, which I don't know, I guess needs clarifying, but from the standpoint that I have a square and I really like the square. So it's not like I can test people like someone was asking about Pro V1s. He wasn't being like, well, why aren't you using Pro V1s? But I just can't use Pro V1s, so those are not going to be one of those that I test. So it's like, I'm not saying that pros and everyone playing golf should switch over to these balls. I'm speaking from the standpoint of me having a square and talking to other people for the most part that either have a square or want a square, if that makes sense. That's what we're looking for there. All I did on that one, literally, I feel like almost because they have more curvature, the TP5s, you get more in the habit of like aiming further right or further left just because they curve so much, and it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like the more you aim, the more it curves, kind of thing. That one I just said, all right, this is going. I'm hitting them way too far off the toe. I'm way too far into out. That one I just said, all right, I'm going to line up and try to hit it straight, and that's what happened. So I feel like even as far as down to T would help. As far as down to like your alignment almost changes slightly with these because you're not trying to. I mean, so that's the thing, Toast. Like that was a really good shot. That felt like a 50-75% driver. Just like hit this one straight. That was like a cruising fairway finder shot. Which the same thing the other night when I was playing with Flying Fat Kid and Rich and Tom. Really, the only good ones that I hit, and I said it during there, was like, all right, I just need to like bunt this out there, and they were close to that. Versus, it feels like when I could be, or not could be, it's probably mostly my swing because that was still a miss with the TP5s. But as soon as I try to get after it, the ball speed goes way up, but the spin goes way down, and they just don't go as far. So that's low on the face, but that's still 251 with 90 RPMs of side spin. And I would consider that a miss, like not a very good strike. And it's right down the middle. My only problem is I feel like golf is the most fun, and I have the most fun when I'm trying to like grip it and rip it and hit it hard. I just like playing golf like that. And it seems like either between the driver with the shaft, the way I'm swinging it right now, or these balls are a combination of the three. When I really try to get after it, which is fun sometimes, it doesn't work out so well. Kind of like that. To be fair, that one I got a little handsy, but I was trying to give that one a little bit extra. We'll do it on that. That was toey, but it'll still work. All right. Georgia Golf Club. Still haven't quite figured out. Sometimes I play better with literally no warm-up. Other times I play better with like a rather extensive warm-up. Still can't tell. Like right now, I feel like these first couple holes are going to be way better just because I took that much extra time to warm up. But then feel like sometimes by the end of the round, I'm almost tuckering out and getting tired versus maybe not warming up as much. So the first couple holes are a little shaky, but then you finish stronger. Yellow tees, I debated between these and the one forward, but it is Georgia Golf Club. I didn't want to make it too Mickey Mouse, but I definitely did set it up easier. So we're doing yellow tees at 62, 8-foot gimmies, Thursday pins. Here's the biggest advantage. Soft greens, hard fairways, 11 stimp, 136 feet elevation and calm wind. Man, this is taking forever. This course is awesome. Oh. I'm thinking, Toast, you haven't gone down the whole SGT route, right? Yet? I assume probably that's maybe coming. The SGT route with all the tours and the leagues. Putting on those hateful greens is no fun. I agree. However, 11 stimp and soft greens makes it a little bit easier, and the fact that they're 8-foot gimmies. I almost went 10, but 8-foot gimmies, you don't do quite as much putting, hopefully. But I mean, we'll see. I haven't even looked at the leaderboard, so I'm sure probably some Australians are up there. All right. This is really cool. If you guys haven't seen this, you can toggle basically the grandstands and all the crowds and whatnot. Actually, I don't know if there's crowds on this one. That was like, which one? That European course that I think Greg McDonald did. Anyways, toggle option. I think this is the first course that had it, though. You can turn like grandstands and tournament setup on and off, but very, very, very iconic. Just one of the, honestly, the most beautiful courses on GSPro, in my opinion. This is just such a good job by TechBud. It's just kind of what we were talking about before, Toast. Unfortunate how challenging the actual course is. So just like no one, you don't really see that many people playing this just because it's so tough. Wireless mic and in. Those are cheap. Like I can send you a couple if you want. I know you literally, Toast, you don't need to spend more than, I know Canadian's a little different. $10 to $15 US. You can get one for sure that'll work and sound pretty decent for 15 to 20 Canadian, a wireless mic. If you're going to buy one, make sure, I've shown these in the past, but you should have them on Amazon. Get a mic that has a charging case. You see this? I just have a rubber band because I have like the wind muff thing that I put in my adapter. But get a dual mic. You can get these for literally $10 or $15. Get a dual mic. So you have two mics, the receiver, and it comes with a charging case. So no matter what, you're always good to go. You always have a charged mic, and you're not individually plugging them in. It's the way to do it. All right. Mic sounds good. I will caveat it by saying, Toast, I'm pretty frugal, so I've tested probably 10 to 15 different mics from Amazon. over the past couple years. And I've found ones like you can't even buy those anymore. So there will be some that sound better than not. But if you're just playing online kind of stuff or even just streaming, any kind of mic, even if it's not that good, is going to be way better than not having one. Because as soon as you like, if your mic's going through your computer or your camera, as soon as you walk over here to go pick up a ball and you happen to say something funny with your back to the camera, no one can hear it. So, all right, let's see what we can do. But basically, those I think are the main requirements. For the most part, those cheaper mics, they're all going to do the same thing. I don't use any noise canceling or anything, so that doesn't really matter. The distance, if you can get one that has like over 100 feet of distance, even though you're in a short space, you should be fine no matter what. But besides that, I think getting the two mics. Get through it. The two mics is the way to go. So, I mean, that's unfortunate. That, like, felt really good off the face. That was decent speed. Those numbers in terms of club path and face and all that stuff looked pretty decent. Like, that felt like a pretty decent swing. And the fact that it just has 900, or 700 rather, 709 backspin. Like, that could have easily gone probably an extra 50 yards in the air. Just falling out of the air. In any event, 158 up 5 out of the rough. 163. We're on a downslope. Then I'm going to hit a smooth. So we have a backstop. It's going to come out right. I'm going to hit a smooth 7. Or almost off the Hosel Rocket Shank 7. How I hit that partially off the Hosel and it still drew, I have no idea. Not exactly ideal right there, though. 2.9 left. 18 out of the fairway. So 10 to the front. Probably want to be in the neighborhood 4-5 short. Maybe even 3-4-5 because we're into the uphill. So 13, 14 yards. 12, 13, 14 maybe. Not 23. So like, I think it's just the feel and the muscle memory is still with the TP5. That does not feel. I think they just pop off the face and they just carry further. That just didn't feel like a 23-yard shot. It was literally 10 yards more than what I wanted. 13. And even that one, I was trying to play that like 8 or 9 and it went 12. It kind of just jump off the face. Bogey to start. JT Walsh 12 under, TX 7 under, Jamie New 2 under. Well done, boys. That get through? Wow, that's lucky. Again, felt like a really good swing. Like it felt good off the face, all that stuff, and just no spin. Which, again, is mostly me and my swing. That's been definitely the miss as of the past few months. But it's possible that the old Maxfli may not be helping me quite as much on those. So we're going to try to hit it here and hook it, I think. $191, down 7, semi-rough. 185-ish. Just hook a 7. It's par 5. Almost shanked it again. That was super low and heely. That was not much of a hook. $35. Semi-rough. Probably looking for about, it's up 2 to 37. It's going to land pretty soft, so 32-ish, 33. 27, run. Soft greens. $23, playing 31. Not even close with the putt, but it's par. All right, let's get something with more than 1,000 backspin. One over through 2. That was just a terrible swing. That was way off the toe. That was off from the backswing. Actually, I touched the turf a little bit on the backswing. That threw me off. I think it's a short par 4, though. 47 up to 52. Semi-rough. That is one thing around this course because it's so well manicured and maintained. You got to contend with trees and the greens and everything else, and the water, and the creeks. However, the grass and like super challenging rough and deep rough, not quite as much. Go. Yikes. I wanted like 45, 47. Oh. All right. So far, driver and wedges. Haven't really done a whole lot great, but I don't know if we've hit a single good wedge shot, and I don't think we've hit a single good drive. 160 down 5. I'm thinking, depending on this heat map, I want to get it there. I think it's a smoother 8 iron. Soft greens. I thought that was going to be perfect. I needed 150, not 146. $25. Yes, all things considered, I'd rather have these uphill putts than downhill putts, but I feel like they've all been pretty decently uphill. Pulley, that was way off the toe. Maybe putting for TP5. Technically, you could just putt with it whatever you want, I guess. You could just use a regular ball for putting, but... Or I just need to get used to putting with them. Hang on. That's only semi-rough. Do we have a shot? Not take advantage of the straight flight benefits with the old driver with these balls, I'll tell you that. Alright, we're going to try to turn this one just to get around that tree. Say have a good round, heading out to practice. Need to find about 20, 30 yards. So we play a round of golf sometimes, 6 iron. Can't get any of my clubs. Dude, it doesn't have to be. You don't have to shoot a certain score or hit it a certain distance to play. Like we could do a putt-putt course for all I care. But I appreciate it. Appreciate you stopping in. I'm going to try to hit this about 105-ish with some draw on it. Not bad. No! Now it's going to be bad. That one, I just didn't quite draw it enough. But that was pretty much what I wanted. 200 carry. Just keep working later. See ya. See you triple threat. I was going to leave it straight. This is so far uphill, I just got to hammer this putt. This is up 24, 35. And it's up to 80 feet. Hey now. Oh no. That went from a putt to a 21-yard chip. I'm just trying to hit that about, no way. Trying to hit that about 15. And that one had 0 side spin. However, it picked up the club data, so I think that one just may have actually been one of those rare straight ones. It's possible it missed it, but I've seen very, very few of those. Get me off this hole. Maybe it's a good thing I'm not playing with Big Dog. The putting has been bad. So this is up 25, 56 feet. Don't you dare. No. Jeez. Imagine how hard and unpleasant this course is in real life. Tell me about it. To be honest, I know it's just difficult, so I'm not like super dialed in on pulling up the heat maps on all those like shorter shots. I'm still in the adjustment period. I got used to them. I was hitting them pretty good at the end of the stream last night when I was doing that wedge matrix, but you can probably hit anything good when you hit them that many times. It just seems like I'm so used to or seemingly used to pretty close in the feel of like what a 10-yard shot should feel with those TP5s. And like a 10 or 15-yard shot with these wedges seem like they're going like 25. And putting's a little hairy. I don't know if we've had exactly a lucky bounce or some help from these undulations on the green. And somehow every putt's just massively uphill. I feel like one of these we may get lucky and have it like roll into the circle or something. But at the same time, these pin locations aren't exactly designed to have the ball funnel towards it. 36, 37. That's another 80-foot putt. Basically 10 playing 12. All right. One good drive, maybe. 3 over. Go figure. That was the best one I hit. Now we're in the trees, but we'll call that an improvement. I may grab the 60-gram hazardous shaft and try it with this head. Like, there's days that I love this shaft and there's days that I don't. And now I'm tossing in the new ball on top of it, so how much of it is the ball? I don't know. But, like, the good thing with that felt like a pretty effortless 273 in the air. The bad thing is I have to feel like I'm, like, holding off on it, and I like swinging hard. So I'm kind of torn between, like, that's probably a better, more consistent, smoother swing, but I have more fun just swinging hard. So try to hit this 50. .56, just dead straight, but you don't get that zippy zip. Nine, playing 7. Caw-caw! First one of those, boys. Watch out, JT Walsh, I'm coming. 12 under. Who else is up there? Bogey Bro, the Tutor. What did the Tutor shoot? Was that even? Like to think maybe. If I can just not, like, hit a wedge 20 yards further than what I want to kind of thing. And actually keep driver in play. Get this back to even maybe. Not ideal. Kind of lunged at that. That was really low in the face. This doesn't look great, but I actually think we have a decent shot. Just can't really see where we're going. 191 up 11. Does that say? All right, we're a little bit blocked, but it's going to come out right. We can go there. Is that up for 11 or 13? 13. 204. Upslope. It's firm fairways, but soft greens. Try to hit a draw 5 iron. I mean, it was a baby draw. Sit. Didn't hit it that great. It was kind of low and heely. For a miss, though, I don't mind that. I wouldn't be surprised with these tees. I bet JT Walsh didn't even putt that much. I bet he had a lot of shots like this. Now that I have this, he probably had like 10, 15-yard shots. He just chips inside the circle and moves on. He probably played this round in like 10 minutes. 14 uphill. 10, 11, 12, 13 yards anywhere in there. Not 16. Dang it. These things just fly off the face. Does not even feel like 16-yard shot. Whew. Caw. If I screwed that birdie look up, I would have been pissed. Better. Why can't I just do that every time? .102. Soft greens and it's uphill. I'd probably get away. I mean, 5 short. And again, these Maxfli spin more on this. Um, 102. Call it 97 would be perfect, but I think anywhere, if I hit it, 95 is probably a little bit short. If I hit it closer to 100, I don't know, but 95 to 100, I guess. .99. Wow. So, I mean, it was pretty dead straight. I aimed a touch right, and it launched. I mean, it launched 2.2 right. Seemed like either between the launch or the wind. The wind wasn't that strong, but it seemed like it kind of just got held out there. And it should have came back at least a little. But I guess I just got to get in the habit. I got to figure out how far these stupid wedges go with this ball. And I think start getting in the habit of just aiming a little bit straighter, I guess. I don't know. Oh! Pushy push. That was dumb. I should not have done that. That almost, I saw the I was trying to clear that ball out of there, try to rotate these. I saw the square blink as if that was going to pick that up. That was almost a waste of a stroke right there. Jeez. 3,200 spin. Do we get risky? I think we just played it there. Oh, sit. Even that, actually, it's not a bad look. Even that, I felt like such a delicate swing. For that thing to go, I was trying to hit that like 75, 80, not 95. Pretty much just need that shot again. Fortunate part is, I feel like that's still a pretty good shot. And this is almost like an unmakeable putt now. 15 feet. Not enough speed. Straight putt, not enough speed. I mean, it's going to work out, but we have seemingly gone from a very low spin, almost uncontrollable duck hook to now a high spinny fade. Downhill. We're going to go there. We're going to hit a 56. Try to float it down. I may skull this, but we're looking for about 85. '87. Brutal. Decent shot, though. 8-footer. Whew. Pretty sure Amazon's here. I ordered a new mouth guard for grinding my teeth at night. I think they're delivering it. Debatably, the most iconic hole on the course right here. 12th hole, par 3, 147 downhill with the wind. Cold in my garage, I'm sniffing. Sorry. I mean, it gets like below about 55, 60 degrees and my nose just starts. All right, 9-iron, 1 over. Sit. Is this a putt? 21 up to 23. Honestly, a tough call. Putting hasn't been great and wedges haven't been great either. So I think it is, though. It's uphill. It's going to come out left. But probably, look at that leaf. Greater chance of getting inside the inner circle. So it's going to come out left. However, it's a double breaker. Guess we'll try that. That started to go down. I definitely hit that too hard, so can't really complain that that didn't go in, but that was kind of brutal. Just thinking, like, granted, I've had anywhere between 3 balls down at a time, and right now I have 24, so I have 24 balls down, but I've hit a fair amount of shots with these same balls, and I don't see a single ball. Like, you honestly can't really tell which ones I hit and which ones I didn't. I can't see a single ball that, like, the decal's starting to come off or anything like that. Oh, man, I remember this hole. I mean, it's basically got to be... See ya. ...154 ball speed, 238 raw. and we went a whopping 111 yards of total. I don't have, actually, never mind. I do. There's some room up here. I was gonna say I don't have much here, but yeah, for sure. That's the trade-off, though, right? That's probably why between the urethane, there's a reason why all the pros play urethane. I'm sure that's where the spin on those wedges come from. But these last longer. And I would say, generally speaking, if I had to pick just blind test feel, I like the feel of these better. But I also like a softer ball. Wasn't hit very good, but honestly, that's all we were looking for. 120. Downhill. It's going to come out left. What's up, Jay? I don't know. It's kind of been an all over the place around. I saw you there up on the leaderboard. We're not doing as good as you were doing. Overall, though, not bad. How about you? What is it, Saturday night now? It's Saturday afternoon here. You're probably actually pretty late over there, right? 8, 9 o'clock? You 5 hours maybe? It's 3:39 here. 1:15-ish. Get right. Right. No. Played pretty poorly. 8:39 here. Been out for a barbecue dinner? Nice. That sounds good. I know I'm pretty hungry. Usually I don't eat. I kind of get used to it, but I generally speaking don't eat a ton during the day. And then I pretty much eat whatever I want at night. 10 uphill out of the semi-rough. Probably 6, 7, 8 yards. Par. I'm honestly debating like going to get that hazardous shaft right now. Just trying it. I've had this thing on upright. I changed it like 2 days ago. I go through periods where I can hit it pretty good and I say, okay, I found it. Like, let's just keep doing this. But it seemingly only lasts maybe a week to 2 at the most, and then I'm back to like changing settings again on this driver. Which I don't know if I'm changing things on the driver to help my swing, or I'm changing my swing and then I need to change things on the driver to match up with it. Better-ish. $147. Soft greens. Good shot, though. Try that. 20-footer. Brutal. Don't roll all the way down that hill. I think part of this is I just really haven't been loving sim. The putting is what it is on the sim. You got to do it. It's just I played a little more auto putt lately, and it's just way better. So much faster. You don't have to keep picking all these lines, walking back and forth. Some of it I'm just like, for the time being, I'm just kind of like sick of. It's not even the putting. I don't mind putting. It's reading all the putts and trying to figure out the different stimps and the different breaks. I know someone like Bogeyman Bill, Toast, I'm sure you're a really good putter. You probably like that stuff, but I feel like it just takes so much extra time instead of kind of zipping through around and keeping the momentum going. Probably tree trouble. We do have a window though. Whoa, maybe not. Maybe semi-rough. So it's gonna come out left. Let's try it. What's the worst that can happen? Perfect window? I mean, we'll see. I'm gonna hit a 5. This is one of those shots where you say, okay, we got water. I need to absolutely crush this. I'm not gonna try to do that. I'm just gonna try to just hit it relatively smooth through this tree. This is one of those where I find myself, like I said, feeling like, all right, this is like needs to be a miracle shot kind of thing. You end up trying to make sure you get over the water and then you chunk it or thin it or something. This one I'm just gonna try. I toe chunked it. Go! That's probably right in the water. Well, so much for my plan. I still did it anyways, but kinda worked out ish. 45. It's probably some crazy undulation up there, but we're just gonna aim a little bit right and hit it. Looking for 40-ish. $32. That's way short. Take that from there. It wasn't bad. It was a really bad shot, but the result could have been a lot worse. I thought that was for sure in the water. 46. I don't think I hit it. I did not. Relatively straight-ish putt, but I didn't hit it nearly hard enough. 0.2. I have a tougher time controlling the face on those stronger putts. I'll take that. 11. Par. 3 holes left. Par 3, 154, 164. You ever get scared trying to hit big draws in there? I have the same offset. I feel like trying to hit off the right screen sometimes. You saying, what's up, crushing it? Well done, thanks. You saying in terms of, I guess, actually like hitting this stuff over here? Not really, because I was built all this stuff myself, so I'm pretty confident. Like I've never had anything crazy happen to escape, but I've also built it to protect against all that stuff between the netting and like cardboard boxes, just to make sure, kind of thing. So no, not really. Maybe subconsciously, not that I think about, maybe subconsciously because it's a smaller space, possibly still, but that's not something that I'm like actively thinking of. Kind of the same way with the square being there. When I first had it, it'd be one of those things where like, okay, it's right there. But I built the shank tank so robust, I honestly don't care if I shank it or not. So it kind of removes a little bit anxiety or whatever you want to call it. But I started to read that. I didn't know if you were talking about in terms of in here actually, or like committing to hitting it right on GSPro. I mean, that's fine. That just felt like I hit that a good amount better than 149. Can't get past the mental block. It fades subconsciously no matter what. What do you have for a shank tank, though? Is it because you know your shank tank's not going to actually do anything? Or is it more of like a net and a screen issue? I mean, either way, it took me, when I first set this up, it took me like 2 weeks to build up the confidence to hit driver. So, I mean, it'll take time no matter what. But basically what I'm saying is if you have a lot of confidence in your shank tank, that removes kind of a piece of it out of the back of your head. Same thing with like your setup between your screens and your nets and like extra protection. So you just want to be able to, as much as you can, you'll never be able to match it up to outside, but swing basically as free as you can is the goal. So besides like those things, I'm not saying your shank tank's good or not, but to me, those things are what alleviate some of the stuff in the back of your head, if that makes sense. All right, another massively uphill putt. 65. Not even close again. Spike's. Spike's a good dude. But Spike's a good dude. I hope he does well with them. If you have already tested it, hopefully it works. To me, I wouldn't feel comfortable with leave Spike out of it. Even anything similar to basically, essentially whatever, unless it's the big, huge metal one that's like $200 from Square or whoever sells it. If it's not that and it's not the shank tank that I built, yeah, you just need to not worry about it. If it's not the metal, like the metal one for like $200 or this shank tank that I built, that cost me like 25 or $30 in a little bit of time. nothing else is going to hold up to it. So whether it's Spikes, whether it's someone else that has the 3D printed ones, no, nothing against them. It's just a fact that they're not as robust. So that could be part of it. I think this thing, it was 25 bucks. The milk crate, I think, was like $8 to $10, and the two pieces of plexiglass were like 14 or 15, I think. So somewhere right around there. The rest of the stuff, I just have probably a 20, 30 pound stone paver on top of it, but that was already just kind of in the woods. It was extra, so I didn't pay for that. I don't know what those cost, but 13. Personally, I've never hit a shank into it, but I've had a handful of family and friends who have. And the most that has ever happened is the square inside of the shank tank slightly just rotates because the shank tank got hit so hard. It just slightly like rotates the bottom so it's out of alignment. It's literally never tipped over, never fallen over. Multiple shanks on it. The glass doesn't break. You can't even tell where it hit on the glass. The problem is with whether those other shank tanks that are out there, the problem is whether the actual material they have is heavy enough or like heavy duty enough to stop and not crack. That's one thing. But even if it is, another massive problem is the square's not that heavy and those shank tanks aren't heavy. So even if it doesn't crack, you're still going to whack the shank tank, which is going to whack the square and have it go flying and tip over, which obviously is not good for it. Like, you want to keep this thing as essentially as untouched as possible, I would think. So no, I'm not guessing on alignment. I used to have it close to where it was really, really close. Now what I do, I think I have a couple videos, but essentially I have a laser level behind. I don't know if you can see it here, like the green going through my shoe, running straight through. That's great for alignment. Also, mainly I use it for putting. So that's awesome for putting. But what I have is the square inside of the shank tank, and I have a pencil. So if like this is the glass, I have a pencil right up against it. So it's not big enough for the square to interfere with it. But what I do is I just push the square right up against the pencil in front of the glass. So there's like a fraction of an inch in between the square and the glass. So I know that's perfectly straight. All I do is I take this paver off and I take the square out, put it back on. That doesn't move. And then unless I need to, when I come back out, I take the paver off, put the square in, just butt it up so it's perfectly flush against the pencil, and I know it's straight, and then I put the paver back on top. So I only ever, it's usually I align it and I use it for like 2 or 3 weeks. By the time 2 or 3 weeks come around, usually I accidentally, like when I'm taking it out or something, I accidentally like knock it with my foot and it'll just slightly move. Yeah, things we do for sim golf, but that's the only time I ever realign it. Other than that, if I did it right now, I guarantee you it would be like 0.1, 0.2 at the most off out of alignment. But I know it sounds crazy, like that's a long explanation, but the things we do for sim golf, you also want to make things, you want to think out things and do it thorough, kind of in the first place, so you don't have to constantly think every time you come out, you have to realign it. I just turn the laser on, and it's pretty much good to go. So it's like you either do that forethought and put in the work to not have to do it every time, or you have to deal with aligning it every time, or you just say, I don't care, and it's just going to be out of alignment. But then you're guessing on everything. Man. Honestly, for how bad I've been hitting driver today, one over is not even that bad. Like, that is just horrendous. Well, Jay, if you're watching this, we don't have as much of a window here, buddy. I mean, I'm just in jail. I don't really have besides that. I don't know. We're going to hit that. We're going to hit an 8-iron, and we're going to see what happens. Ah, I hit it good too. Oh well. All things considered, not the worst outcome from there. See if we can actually hit a wedge shot. They're not even bad wedge shots. They're just going too far. It just doesn't feel like a 30-yard shot. Would have been perfect. I think so too. That was a good shot. The rare good shot. That was lucky. That's a lucky par from there, to be honest. All right, one good drive. One good drive. I may grab the hazardous out of curiosity. I got so many of those testing videos that I want to do. I still haven't even done one for. I said I was going to do one after I got the QI10. Problem is, I do so many of these live streams. I kind of just like talk out loud and say some of the stuff I want to say that I would usually record in a video just while I'm live. So it's like somewhat the need of doing a video kind of gets. It was toey, but 1,000 backspin is the pattern of today. What side do you take on scores distance readings? People have indoor swing syndrome. Oh, legit, there's some issue somewhere. I don't know. I haven't heard. I don't know. Where are you seeing that stuff? Like people that you know, or like Facebook? Because I scroll on the Facebook stuff sometimes. I don't see a whole lot of. Like I've seen it a lot more. Like when I was with the Garmin, when I had the Garmin R10. I honestly don't see a lot of people saying that the distances aren't accurate. I think for me, they're spot on. So, especially you consider there could be differences in what units you got. Like, I'm sure there are some dud type of units. Maybe those people are loud and they just need to get a replacement. But I wouldn't be surprised if some of the quality control got slightly worse as demand went essentially through the roof. I got mine pretty early, so I've had mine for just about a year. So it was one of the earlier ones, not like speaking of Spike, him and Gary Golfley were like the first ones, so they weren't that early. But generally speaking, that was before the massive surge. So whether I got a good one and people's are maybe different and not as accurate, I don't know. From my standpoint, it's awesome. Like I don't have any gripes. There's some shots that maybe are a misread, but you'll get a misread with everything, every unit you use. But those are honestly pretty rare. I think 99% of the shots I hit are pretty darn good. Um, really? CDC more complaints with Square than other launch monitors? Is that? I don't know. I haven't seen that, honestly. Um, is that just because more people have them because they're cheaper? I don't know. I haven't seen it. Mine's been awesome. Like I paid full price for mine. It's not like I got sent it for free and like get paid to like say nice things about it. I wish I did, but I just love it. I think for the price, mine works literally almost flawless every time. There's some tricks to it to where I was speaking about the alignment that could mess up. Like if your alignment's off, that could mess you up. Same thing if it's not flat. Yeah, toast. I never get misreads. I mean, I do, just to be fair, like I do every once in a while, but they're very, very rare. Agree with 99%. Still getting dropouts here and there, though. A lot of it, too, which is kind of a tougher truth. Let me just hit this shot. Tougher truth is, which is tough to tell people, a lot of it's user error. So, like, there's no real nice way to tell people that. But it's just the truth that needs to go. There's stuff that you could or should be doing that are possibly affecting the results you're getting. Like at some point, I get you're paying $700 for something, so you want to be able to just essentially plop it down and have it be really good. But there is some like user stuff that you need to also take care of on your own, like on your end, not you, but people in general that have it, to be able to make it as accurate as you can make it. Same thing with like the Garmin R10 when I was using that. There were little like tips and tricks that you had to do to get the most out of it. Indoor swing syndrome is definitely a thing, and I think user, call it error, call it lack of maybe being diligent or just not wanting to put in those extra, like the extra effort to make it as good as you can. I think that's part of it, but I honestly haven't seen much. Like I've seen people they complain about with it dropping out, but that's not a Square issue, that's the connector issue. Like I'm on the Open API connector. I don't know if I've heard of a single person that uses the official connector that have good things to say about it, but that's a connector issue between GSPro and Square. I don't even know if it's as much Square as it is GSPro. You go back to the Open API and it works perfect. So it's like some of the complaints is that actually Square, is that their fault, or is that GSPro? Are you doing something wrong? Did you not update it? Do you not have it aligned? Is it on an uneven surface? Is it too much light? Like there's a lot of things I think that can affect it. All right. All in all, one over. I am curious. Really not much to look at here. I'm gonna grab the 60-gram hazardous shaft. We kind of righted the boat a little bit after that start. 3 birdies, a double, and 2 bogeys. That's about it. Driver was probably the worst. Putting, so-so. Felt out a little bit more towards the end. Wedges weren't great. Driver was pretty bad. 12 pars, 3 birdies, 2 bogeys, 1 double, 318, 252, 153, 154. Somehow he hit 11 out of 18 greens in regulation, but that's mostly because of the shorter tees and the soft greens. 4 out of 14 fairways. That's pretty standard. The official is better now. Seems to get dropped out when it auto switches to wedges or putting every now and then. Nice greens in regulation, thanks. Is that like better now over the past like couple days? Because I even like a week ago, people were having tons of issues with it, unless they just did something. But I'm still on the Open API with the connector you get from the website because you get some extra stuff with in that one too, from what I've heard. I've never even tried the other one, so this thing works awesome. It never drops out. Very, very rarely, like very rarely, maybe once every 2 months, if that. You have the alignment built into it, which is really nice. Let me just let me grab the hazardous shaft. We'll do a little testy test. All right, we're back. Since the first version, at least for you, if it drops out, just go to the club select and click any club, and it comes right back. You and you. I have to do that. I have to do that very, very rarely, even on this one. But yeah, I saw people messing with the disarms. I mean, Whiskey Rich was doing it. He was having tons of issues, and he seems pretty tech savvy. He was trying to problem solve stuff, and it just seemed like he was just getting issues on top of issues with it. And then he went over to the open API, like I've been using, that you get from the website, and it's just, yeah, still annoying. I don't know. I don't think it's worth it. Just use the open API. It takes like 2 seconds to switch. I think you used to have to like email GSPro and have them like change your license, but I'm pretty sure now you can just go on and like literally do it yourself within 10 seconds. All right, we may tweak things if we start hitting a few, but you're stubborn, you want it to work. I hear you. Had a couple full-on dropouts where you had to restart GSPro. Nothing else worked. You even tried the reset GSPro Connect. Some people don't know how to do that. That saves you from having to restart it. In terms of switching this shaft, right now I have it. I've just been messing around with it. This is on the upright setting, so it's 8 degree QI10 LS head. 8 degrees, playing 8 degrees, but it's in the upright setting. We'll start on that for my old-ish hazardous shaft. All of it, yep. I will say, even if I happen to hit this really good and I happen to go back to the shaft, I really like having, I'm glad I bought the other shaft. Like, that's a 75 gram. The tensile shaft is nice. I think it just maybe kicks a little bit too much for me. The way I swing, which is pretty aggressive, I really need to give that shaft time to like load and drop and pause, which I'm just not great at. So again, what I was saying earlier, do I need to just get better at doing that in my swing to be able to use that, which may be beneficial, or I just lean into trying to feel like I hit it hard with this shaft that's a little more boardy and a lot less kick that stays with me throughout the swing. That was low toe, but it wasn't hit horrendous. That was hit better, but the face was open. Oh, that was off the heel. Surprise, surprise, it's probably not the shaft. However, at least a little more spin on it. I have the square, switched to the open beta 1 week ago. Haven't had any issues since I did. Yep. I mean, I've been using that. I think that's been the case, Todd. I appreciate you saying to kind of confirm it and add another data point, I guess you call it, but I've never used the official one. This thing just works. The open API one from the website just works so good that I don't need to. And from all I've heard from everyone that's tried it, probably 10, 12 people at this point, it seems like, that have tried it that just all have issues with the official one. So I just keep telling people, go back. How it's still messed up that bad and how the official one was even released with that many issues in it is beyond me. Like, I don't know if that's a GSPro issue or if that's a Square issue or a combination of the two. But to put out, that was better. To put out an official connector with that many issues is kind of like, that's kind of surprising. You'd think that there would be, having the beta one out for as long as it was, little to no issues when that thing comes out. Oh. Club actually twisted. That was so far off the toe, the club twisted when I hit it. But it's actually, for as bad as that was, ball speed dropped way off. That's actually a pretty good shot for how bad that was. So I gave that one a little extra. I'm definitely over compressing it. I can feel it. It feels too soft. That could be partially some of the spin. I gave that one a little extra. I feel like 155, 160 in terms of like on the edge of starting to be, you lose a little with driver is probably, I feel like, right around there with this ball. I feel like if you're probably gonna lose a decent amount of performance if you're one of those 165, 170 players and above in terms of ball speed with driver. It's not that it's unplayable. You're gonna over compress it and you're gonna probably lose distance versus a. But on the flip side, you can also still do that. So I don't know. That's 157.6. Maybe it's the difference of the almost backspin dispersion, maybe. So there's just a wider variance between really low driver swings with backswing or backspin or really high ones. I don't know, but I don't mind this driver shaft combo. That's the miss. That was just me smothering it. So am I just swinging it different? Or I seemingly have gone from a mid-launch, mid-spin shaft to a low-launch, low-spin shaft, and I'm spinning it more. and then I spin it less. That was me getting frustrated and saying I'm just going to swing hard. That was probably the best one of the day by a good amount. Also not bad. I think I'm going to end it on that one, to be honest. Those I actually swung hard. They went halfway decent. Try to end on a high note for once. Part of me wants to just keep hitting balls because those two felt pretty good. Then the problem is the next one I hit bad, and then I spend 15, 20 minutes trying to just hit one more like that, and I just get exhausted in the process. So we will live to swing another day. But I suppose we will leave the shaft here for the time being. I'm out of here, though. I don't know who's left watching anyways, but appreciate you guys tuning in. Little league action. Appreciate Flying Fat Kid for the super chat like usual. Appreciate the rest of you for keeping me company. Had an earlier night last night, so I think I may actually have two in a row, which is going to be kind of nice. No big dog. He's at a soccer tournament, calls it a football tournament, but no big dog tonight, so this will probably be it for me, and then possibly tomorrow morning, maybe I'll do something. See you crushing it. Thanks for stopping in. But enjoy the rest of your weekend. If I see you tomorrow, I'll see you. Members, I'm just going to do a thumbnail quick, and I'll put that video up. I think it's one of the better ones I've done in a while, if not ever done, in terms of kind of some of the different stuff I did. But I think you'll get something out of it. But that's it. Appreciate you guys. See you on the next one.